Okay, so let's jump right into it. You sent me this research article all about AI education and get this, for elementary school kids.
Oh, wow.
I know, right? It's called Lessons Learned for AI Education with Elementary Students and Teachers.
Catchy.
Right. And it was published back in 2022. It really does seem kind of early to be talking like serious AI stuff with little kids.
Well, you have to think about it, though. Like, they're already growing up surrounded by it, you know?
Totally. So, in this deep dive, we're going to be looking at what the researchers found out about how these kids see AI and what teachers think about bringing it into the classroom.
That's a really interesting angle.
Yeah. So, first things first, what do kids even think AI is? Like, what comes to mind?
Well, this particular study focused on fourth and fifth graders, and it turns out a lot of them think AI is, well, pretty much robots and coding.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, they kind of get that you have to teach the computer,
Mm.
but they're not exactly sure how that all happens.
It's like they probably imagine someone has to like write down every single possible answer for Alexa or something, right?
Right, exactly. And there's actually this great quote from one of the students, student B1.
Oh, yeah. What'd they say?
They said, they'll answer almost any question you have. And that's all powered by the people who coded those and copied that code and put it in every single robot and sent it off.
Wow, that's like so spot on for how a kid would think about it.
It really shows you how they're taking what they know about technology and trying to make sense of AI.
Mm.
You know, they see Alexa answering all these questions, but the actual machine learning that makes it work is still a mystery to them.
Yeah, that's kind of like how we all react to complicated stuff, right? We see what it does, but we don't really get the H out of you.
You know, the researchers actually pointed out that it's very similar to how we all wrap our heads around complex systems at first.
That's interesting. So even though they don't know all the technical details, they are making the connection between coding and AI.
Definitely.
But AI is obviously like way more than just robots, right?
Oh, absolutely. And the study actually found that these kids had a pretty wide range of AI examples from their everyday lives.
Really? Like what?
Well, they mentioned things like Google search, and how it gives you suggestions,
Uh,
YouTube
well,
recommendations.
yeah, YouTube's getting pretty good at that.
They even brought up Roombas cleaning up crumbs.
And of course, they had to mention self-driving Teslas.
Of course, that's like the ultimate AI example for kids these days. In fact, one of the students, student B4, talked about Tesla's self-driving feature and how it has to, learn from its mistakes.
So they're getting the idea that AI can actually learn and improve over time, which is pretty cool.
It is. So we've got these kids with, some basic understanding of AI, a few misconceptions here and there, and a surprising awareness of how much AI is already a part of their world.
Okay, that's a great foundation to build on. Now, what about the teachers? How do they feel about all this AI stuff coming into their classrooms?
Well, this is where it gets interesting. The teachers were definitely impressed by all the different AI examples the kids came up with,
I bet.
but they were also kind of intimidated by the thought of actually teaching AI.
I can see that. AI is such a fast-moving field.
Exactly. It's hard to keep up with, even as an adult, right?
Yeah.
Many of the teachers felt like their own understanding of AI wasn't much better than their students.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. There's this one quote from Teacher C where she says, I feel my definition isn't any better than a student's. There's lots of things that the professor says, but I really have no idea. When teachers go to teach this, will we have background information? How will I have the knowledge to teach the kids? How do I get that knowledge before I teach this?
It sounds like she's like feeling a little lost, like there's not enough support or resources to help her tackle this?
Yeah, it definitely highlights a major challenge with bringing AI education to the classroom. We need to make sure teachers have the knowledge and the tools to teach these concepts with confidence.
It's like asking someone to teach astrophysics without a telescope.
Exactly. If we really want AI education to be successful, we've got to give those teachers the right support.
Okay, so teaching the AI concepts themselves is like a bit of a challenge, but what about AI? Pause. You know what? Let's save that for the next section.
It's like we need to give teachers like a crash course in AI before we expect them to teach it?
Totally. But getting back to the research, so far we know kids have some idea of what AI is, even if it's not totally accurate and teachers need more support. Did the researchers offer any solutions? Like, where do we go from here?
Well, they definitely emphasize the importance of starting with what students already know, like all those everyday AI examples we talked about.
Right, the Google searches, the YouTube recommendations, all that.
Exactly. They said those familiar experiences can be a really great starting point for teaching.
It's like meet them where they are and then take it from there. Right.
Exactly. And remember how the teachers felt more comfortable with AI?
Pause. You know what? Let's just skip that for now.
Clearly.
The researchers did suggest that it's important to bring up certain topics from the very beginning.
Like, not just the technical stuff, but also how AI affects things like, I don't know, jobs. Exactly. It's about getting kids to think critically about AI and how it's developed.
It's pretty amazing when you think about it. Like, elementary school isn't just about learning your ABCs and 123s anymore.
It's true. Times are changing, and we need to prepare these kids for a future where AI is everywhere.
It's like AI literacy is becoming just as important as, reading and math.
Yeah, it's a fundamental skill for the 21st century.
Okay, so we know it's important, but how do we actually do it? How do we create AI education that works for elementary school kids?
Well, the researchers didn't exactly give us a step-by-step guide, but they did highlight some important starting points.
Okay, lay it on me.
First off, they really stressed hands-on, inquiry-based learning. Like, let the kids explore AI through activities and projects instead of just sitting there listening to lectures.
Less talking, more doing.
Exactly. Make it fun, make it engaging. For example, instead of just explaining how a search engine works, why not let them try to design their own simple search algorithm?
Let them learn by actually doing it. That makes sense.
And because so many kids associate AI with coding, the researchers also suggested incorporating what they called unplugged activities.
Unplugged. So, like, no computers, but we're talking about AI here.
I know, right? But think about it.
Mm,
You could have them sort objects based on different rules,
yeah.
and that actually helps them understand the basic ideas behind algorithms and decision-making, which are super important in AI.
So it's like sneaking in those computational thinking skills without them even realizing it.
Exactly. You build that foundation first. Then you could start introducing the more technical stuff.
So it sounds like we need a mix of unplugged and plugged activities. Start with the basics and then gradually get more complex.
It's all about scaffolding their learning, giving them the right support at each level.
And of course, we can't forget about the teachers. They need the resources and training to make all of this happen.
Oh, absolutely. Professional development is key. Teachers need the knowledge and the strategies to feel confident teaching AI.
I'm starting to get a clearer picture now of what good AI education could look like for these younger kids. Engaging, hands-on, and with teachers who are well-equipped to guide them.
Yes, that's the goal. But remember, AI education is still a pretty new area.
Yeah.
There's so much more to learn and explore.
You know what? This whole conversation is actually making me think of something. Like, it's kind of like how we teach other complicated subjects like biology. We start with, the stuff kids can actually see, like plants and animals, before we get into all the nitty-gritty stuff like cells and DNA. Could we do
Mhm.
something similar with AI, maybe?
Oh, that's a really good point. It's all about building that foundation first. Start with something familiar, and then gradually introduce those more complex ideas.
So instead of like jumping right into algorithms and neural networks, we could start with something like, hey, have you ever noticed how YouTube always seems to know exactly what you want to watch next?
Exactly. You use those everyday examples as a springboard to explore the how behind the scenes. You get them curious, lay the groundwork, and then you can start to delve into those more technical aspects.
This deep dive has been really fascinating. It's made me realize just how crucial AI education is, and not just for future careers. It's about equipping kids to understand this world that's becoming increasingly driven by AI.
It's like, it's not just a tech skill anymore, it's a life skill.
Absolutely. We've seen how these kids are already forming their own ideas about AI, so we have this incredible opportunity to like guide their understanding and help them become truly AI literate.
It's about empowering them, right?
Right.
Giving them the tools to navigate this new landscape.
Exactly. And you know what? It all starts with encouraging that natural curiosity and that excitement for exploring new things. So for everyone listening out there, think about how you can play a part in promoting AI literacy. Whether you're a parent, an educator, or just someone who's interested in AI, there are so many resources out there to help you learn and get involved. Who knows? You might even end up inspiring the next generation of AI pioneers.
That's what it's all about. It's an exciting time to be involved in AI, and everyone has a role to play.